It is Thursday morning, so this is my video about what they did yesterday. I tried to do it last night, but I was having lighting difficulties. So yesterday, they started really gung-ho on a lot of stuff. I've learned to not even try to understand the logic of how they do things. It reminds me a lot of that movie with Tom Hanks, the Money Pit, where everything looks like it's falling apart and nothing's getting done, and then all of a sudden, boom, the workers leave and there's progress. It's amazing. So they started by doing the AC switcheroo yesterday, and they got the old one into the bedroom downstairs, and they went to test it out, and they're like, this is really not working well. And so they came back and talked to me, and they said, you were saying that you weren't happy with how it was performing upstairs. And I was like, no, it barely gets cold, and it's very noisy. It's very, a lot of work to run. And they said, we opened up the unit on the roof, like the condenser unit on the roof, which I think is the compressor. And yeah, it shot. So, and they said, that's the bad news. The good news is we caught it early enough that it's a fairly cheap repair. It's going to be under 4,000 pesos versus having to replace the unit. So I'm really, really happy that we did it. So I wasn't crazy. So it really was worth doing the AC switch out in my bedroom. Because he says, if we are in a really bad heat wave right now. I'm just dying this morning. It's not even full day yet. And he said, you would have probably burned out your AC within a couple of weeks, and then it would have been a brand new one, and you would have had to buy one for down here. So it worked out really well. So that's how I look at it. So in here, so they started working on outlets, and I've got to remember to tell them the one up there is in the quote, and we're also going to put the two down in here, which you didn't realize about. Sometimes things get missed because my contractor is in here all day. It's another guy that comes and does all that work, and that's not a problem. I worked with this guy last year, so I don't mind at all. It's all the same team as last year. But I'm really glad that I can communicate with this other guy, and he knows I can understand him, and we can get things sorted to make sure that I've got the right scope of work. So right now we're working on changing up here with the ceiling fan, and from what I understood yesterday, it's gonna switch it so that the two little lights go on one light switch now instead of two, and then the other light switch is going to be used for controlling the AC and turning the light on in the AC, is what he said. So I'm looking, that's going to be really good. So I believe today that's probably what they're going to finish doing, is all of that stuff right here. I can imagine today I'm probably going to have new fans, but then again, they might surprise me. Really good progress in here. It's very, very dirty, and most of this dirt on the ground is not like from them. Well, over there, that's from them making holes for the air conditioner. But all of this was in my conduits. Apparently, ants come and live in the conduits here, and they eat whatever they eat in the conduits when they hide there in the wintertime. So, so he said, he says it's not a bad thing that you've been periodic. Every time you do an upgrade, you're changing all your sockets because it makes it possible to make sure that your wiring is not being eaten alive, basically. So that was a big thing. So one thing that I was a little bit surprised, because it was about 4 o'clock, and by 4 o'clock I thought there's no way I'm gonna have the new AC on in my bedroom, and I didn't want to be angry about that. I didn't want to be frustrated about the work process. So I had already planned. I had washed the hammock. I was hanging. I was all planned to sleep down here last night with my little. I bought new batteries with the remote control so that AC would work. And that was my plan. And I told them, I said, I said, I'm leaving at 6:30 for Pilates. You guys, wherever you guys are at 6:30 is where you are. And they said, no. They said, we're going to have the AC in for you upstairs by 6:30. And I was like, there's no way. They got it done because they're amazing. They got it done. It was, paint marks there. They got it done. It wasn't like they didn't clean up or anything. Normally they would clean up. They just left everything dirty, but that wasn't a big deal. I just pulled the shop back out. So I've got it there. It's a lot smaller in terms of length, but it's like a little bit fatter. It's like a little chunky boy. And they did that. And then they put this here for putting the remote control. That's not necessarily where I would have put it, but it's there now, and I'm not going to ask them to change it. Open up some windows. Oh my goodness, it is so humid. Holy cow. So I was able to sleep up here last night. I mean, I went to Pilates, came back, I shot back, and I read the instruction manual, and I got the AC started, and I could have paid 3 times what I paid for that AC. I could have paid any amount of money for that AC. It would have been worth it. I did not hear it all night. It kept the room comfortable. My only complaint is the same complaint that I had with the other one, but I think with this one, it's fixable, is that it does the comfort mode only 7 hours, and then the AC shuts off. And that's not enough. I need it on for like 8 hours, maybe 9 hours, just between, you know, falling asleep and waking up. I need that extra time. And I believe this one, it doesn't 7 is like the preset. It's not the maximum. The other one, the 7 was the maximum. But like all night, like I woke up a couple times during the night to go to the bathroom, and you know, it's very, very humid, drinking a lot. And I just could not believe that all I could hear was the ceiling fan going. I could not hear this at all. Very, very impressed. And it never went like super cold. All night, it went like 20, it says, I put it on economy mode, and it said around 25 all night. But it was just like steady all night. Like, just no humidity in here. It was just really comfortable. So today they're gonna clean up all of this. They're gonna paint, touch up. There's like a little hole that you can see there. They're gonna clean all that up. Hopefully, probably, you know. They ended up not taking my blinds down, and that's fine. Although I'm seeing a little bit of dirt, I gotta go clean up. There's a little dark spot that's driving me nuts, but I ascertained that that's not a stain. It's just I gotta take the little railing off or the little edge off, and then it's a piece of dirt that's gonna come off. I might just have to remind them when they do the paint to, you know, be extra careful, because I will be very peeved if they dirty the blinds. So anyway, and then the first thing they did yesterday, which I was a little bit surprised, because I think they were over ambitious, was they actually took my bathroom. They took turned the water off up here, and disconnected the toilet and everything, so I couldn't use it. So I'm thinking they kind of jumped the gun on that, because let me tell you, my other little bathroom was very, very far in the middle of the night. I had to go all the way down there, and I'm like, holy cow, that's not next door. But yeah. So anyway, so they are starting at 9 o'clock today. So that was like perfect. I woke up around 5:45, and I was wide awake but exhausted. And so I try to go back to sleep, and now I've got a little bit of that sleep inertia going, because I went back to sleep and my body's like, I slept too much. So I've got time to kind of wind into my day before they show up. I'm gonna go make some coffee. I'm gonna go get my workday started. I've already got emails piling in and everything, but I am going to sleep so well with this thing. So just that was worth it. I'm just so happy. In terms of money so far, people always ask that. For the first day, I had to give them 2,000 pesos for miscellaneous supplies for the ACs, and 1,000 pesos for the labor. So that's amazing. Like I thought they were gonna have to do, like last time when I did the AC downstairs, the AC was like a project, and I had to pay a certain amount for the AC, like just a whole, like a bulk amount, because he was hiring an outside contractor, I think. And I think the AC came out to 3,000 pesos, the one AC that I had put in with parts and labor. It was really like, I was under 4,000. So I kind of figured, well, at least double that if we're doing the two, but he's charging me basically by the day. And whatever his guys get done in a day is a day rate. So I think that's going to work out really well. I feel like my contractor is really good at, he'll get like little bits of money out of me, and like I won't ask him for his change and stuff, and he'll still, but he never, like, overall, I don't think he really overcharges me at all. I think it's just, I just find he's very, very fair. And so we'll see when they get here today and what they're going to work on. I just can't wait to get this one up here done. And yeah, now I'm thinking I got some free paint leaders, and I'm thinking, man, I should have got my greens, because I've got a green there. Maybe I'll wash off, and I got a little spot in the darker green. But I'm not going to worry about it, because I would have wanted that pink anyway, and I would have ended up buying pink anyway. So I'm going to just see what happens. I might end up needing more gallons and get more 3 liters, who knows. So, but I'm really glad I got this paint. I've got the water jug out in the middle of the living room because I was out of water yesterday, and my water delivery hasn't been very good since I started going to Pilates on Friday. Sometimes they show up, like they used to be on a schedule, and now they're all over the place, and I wasn't home a couple of weeks, and that kind of got off their route, which really sucks. So I asked the guys yesterday to go get me water, and I pay for the water, and they do the labor, and I just supply water for everybody while they're here. Makes it way easier. So that makes it, I don't really supply like soft drinks or snacks or anything like that, but at least the water is really expensive here. If you go buy like a liter at a time at the store, the way they were doing it last year, so I think that just works out a lot better, and they don't mind at all. All right, coffee time, Benita. It is a scorcher. It's not so much the heat, it's the humidity. It's just really, really high, and it gets worse every year. And I think I've done really well over the last years to just kind of power through, but I can tell as time goes on, I'm going to be happy to have aircon in my house at some point. It's going to happen. But the thing is, I think we focus so much on these really sticky, humid periods of the year. Like people seem to forget that we have really beautiful winters here where it's not humid. Even if it's hot, it's not humid, and you can go out and you can go do exercise. It's like everybody builds their routine around this time of the year, and they don't take into account that this is actually just a very small part of the year here in Mérida. So I'm gonna go get in my office. I'll probably be in there with the aircon today, or at least part of the day anyway. While I'll wait till they need instructions from me, and then I'll go get buried in there. But I walked to Pilates yesterday. Did Pilates, walked home, collapsed. But it is what it is. I'm not going to stop living just because of the humidity. It's just part of life here. And I got the pool, so jumped in that when I got in last night. That was really nice.